Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 494. Jumping back into the expeditions after a couple of constructed videos, and interesting set here. We're going to draft this Nocturne. This is one I would like to get in before expeditions are gone. The Gnar would be the way to go if you want to get your 7 winner, as you may have experienced in constructed with all of the Bandle City and the Gnars running around. He's quite powerful there. He's quite powerful here as well. But today we'll be taking this Black Mist Nocturne, and it's kind of an interesting card pool. We'll pull this one up on the site and talk about it a little bit more. But it's like, in thinking about it, it's one of these archetypes that probably plays better if you're able to pick it second. There's like a handful of ideas that we're going to try and get going with this. We're either going to be trying to play Fearsomes or we're going to be trying to play Mist Wraiths. And if you can be like full on Shadow Isles, it's really powerful. If you compare this off with the likes of a Brutality Kindred or with an Elise, it's extremely powerful. But you don't get those options all the time, right? And so could pair him up with Gnar or whatever comes up, but you're not going to have like the full collection of fearsome combos that you're looking to pull off. But nonetheless, let's get this one pulled up. Let me see here. It's been a while since we've been on the old ftpbus.com. I haven't touched it. Sorry if you like to have this thing updated, but I just kind of gave up on it once Riot gave up on Expedition as well. But here we go, the Black Mist Nocturne. And so it's a single champion archetype. There's no pairing with it, and it usually leads off into 3 decks, right? You can take the kind of standard route, pick up Targon, and draft the Nightfall deck. It's powerful, it's strong. You prefer to be drafting around Diana as opposed to Nocturne, but it's something you can definitely do. And then I like to make the distinction between Fearsomes and between Mist Wraiths. So if you're going to be drafting Mist Wraiths, you just take every single card that says Mist Wraith on it. You can see him here. It just grows. It's this engine type effect to where the more you play, the stronger it gets. And so you're looking for some kind of specific cards to complement the Mist Wraiths. There's, of course, Mist Wraith, Risen Mist, and then Wraithcaller. That is your Mist Wraith generation package. But then you can get advantages from things like Chronicler of Ruin, to where you kill off a Wraithcaller and get a Mistcaller back. You can get some additional values out of things like the resurrection spell. I don't remember if that one's in here, but things that let you kind of like duplicate and copy your cards are quite powerful in this style of deck. And then the other half would be the Fearsomes deck. Now, all of these cards on here do say Fearsome on them, but the Fearsomes deck itself isn't really looking for Mist Wraiths, right? If we're playing Mist Wraiths, we're stacking tall in this one strategy, but if we're drafting Fearsomes, we're not as interested in just a 2/2 Mist Wraith itself, right? Maybe it gets up to being a 3/2, which is okay, but a 4-stat unit for 2 mana isn't a very good deal. And if our deck only has like one Mist Wraith and one Risen Mist, then we're not going to be like super amped about that. And so with the Fearsomes on, the additional kind of Fearsomes deck, you're looking to mainly take advantage of the Fearsome Dog. This just gives you a fantastic way to chunk in usually like 8 or 12 damage if you can spew off 2 or 3 of them in a turn. It helps to level up your Nocturne. It's a cheap Nightfall-ish card if you need the activator because you don't have another thing. It can be quite useful in those terms. And so you can also look for some kind of like side combos if you're just all in on the Fearsomes. If you do find something like Shurima pairing, you can do stuff like Spirit Fire or the Right from Nasus that gives everything -2 attack. There's some other like little combos that you would use to fill out your deck with, as opposed to going all in with the Mist Wraiths. And so, that should be decent enough to get us started. We do have the Frenzied Skitterer out of this, which is always nice. It's one of the more important units that we can try and pick up, in that it can shrink our opponent's team to give us good fearsome attacks. And here we've got a Kalista. Excellent. This is the the other way to just backdoor into the kind of Fearsomes deck here. And that was actually a perfect open for us. I do want to check out this Kalista. There's one of the Kalista archetypes that still manages to have Wraithcaller in it. Doesn't look like it's this one. It must be Afterlife that still has Wraithcaller in it, which is fine. Maybe it will turn up, but it probably won't. And so, in terms of Kalista, she plays, a little bit differently. She is trying to have the Dead Allies theme going. And so the real common kind of line we would see with Kalista is playing a hapless aristocrat on 1. Looks like they took that out of this archetype as well. We'll just say he's playing a cursed keeper on turn 2. Then on turn 3, you can use the blighted caretaker to kill off the unit and get the 2 saplings that will then die. And so if you want to work Kalista into this curve, you can play the cursed keeper on 2, Kalista on 3, blighted caretaker on 4, and then that combination of cards should get your Kalista flipped immediately. And then as the game progresses, you typically try to close out the games with the Rekindler. If you have a flipped Kalista, you do something, you flip her, great, she dies in combat, sad face, but then you bring her back with the Rekindler, and then when she attacks, you may get the chance to bring back the Rekindler. If you can kind of, get him dead, then Kalista brings back the Rekindler brings back Kalista. It sounds like a big chain of challenging shit to do, but it's really not that tough to pull off. And so the Kalista decks look to usually pull off those 2 things. You want the sacrificable units into Blighted Caretaker, and then some number of Rekindlers in the top end to close out the games with. But let's see what happens. I'm just interested. Both of these units have Fearsome, right? Scuttlegeist, Kalista both have Fearsome. Not really interested in the Haunted Relic, but it's a good collection of Fearsomes that we're piecing together so far. Okay, so how are we going to approach this? I don't think we want to jump into Demacia. I want to. We don't have any mist wraiths yet, but I still want to maximize our chances to find them. And so we would prefer to just have 3 Shadow Isles packs all across the board. And then one of the things I do see happen quite frequently with these decks is you will end up with like 4 and 5 crumbles, and so it's really weird. Excuse me, but we'll stay away from these for now. We'll pick up one at some point. And here we'll just take the Fearsome Dog. Okay, man, if there was ever a pack to make me want to jump into Demacia, it would be this Vanguard Sergeant Sharpsight. But I'm going to stick to my guns here and stay away. I'm going to pick up the second Scuttlegeist along with the Astral Fox. Again, both of them have Fearsome. We are going to need to try and pick up some sacrificable units. We already have the Spirit Leech. Now we're picking up Astral Fox, and so we do need some of those early game sacrificables if we can find them. But we won't be like ultra upset if we don't, but our deck won't function super well without them. Here, I'm not the hugest fan of the Twisted Tree line. It's okay, but I'm not really going to be going in for this. I'm going to take our second Astral Fox here along with the Vile Feast, give us a little bit of early game interactivity, and maybe some of the spider stuff will turn up. We're seeing Arachnophilia show up in the wild pick. I'd love to pick up some Hapless Aristocrats, some Arachnoid Horrors, so I'm kind of glad to see this showing up here. But with this one, I'm going to take the Stalking Shadows Doom Beast. It's a nice collection of value and game endingness. We have a lot of good game endingness, right, between the 2 Astral Foxes and the 2 Doom Beasts. So we can really kind of piece together a big all-in style deck and then close with the burn cards. Here I'm going to take the Mist Wraith. I'm not super interested in the Piercing Darkness, but there's still a world where we can get this package going. We seem pretty far away from it at this point, but we're still going to try while we can. Coming out of this one, do not want Pesky Spectre. We're going to get some amount of Fearsomes either way. Like the Mask Mother is a little bit stronger than the Onlooker, but we don't really have the sacrifice package at this point, so I'm just going to take the Dusk Rider. He's a little weak, but he ticks a lot of the boxes that we're looking for. All right, another fairly weak one here. Good to see Arachnophilia show up in the synergy picks. It just got turds attached to it. I'm going to go with the Stalking Shadows Doom Beast out of this. Okay. I'm not opposed to cards like Phantom Prankster. I really prefer Neverglade Collector, but the Black Spear pack with the Vile Feast here is just a little bit better. At least gives us something kind of sacrificable to help our Astral Foxes of the world. Coming in here, we got a Mist Wraith, got to take it. I still envision this package coming together, just a little bit. And then with these, Fading Memories is fine. It works great with the Wraith Callers if we can find them. It works great with all these burn spells that we're putting together with the Doom Beast. Easy Nightfall Activator. Pretty good stuff. Here, we've got a Mist Wraith, gonna take it. Okay, here's what we were looking for out of Arachnophilia. It's coming from the Brutality Kindred, but we get the early game Fearsome along with the Vile Feast. It's extremely powerful. I think I'd rather have our third Vile Feast than our third Stygian Onlooker. The Onlooker plays more like a 5 or a 6 drop. You're rarely playing it early. You're going to have it be like turn 6. You'll play a unit, you'll play an Onlooker, you'll play a combat trick and get everything going all later in the game. Okay, so what are we doing for our last one here? I am pretty interested in just getting rid of the Spirit Leech, but like, do we really want to have 5 Doom Beasts? Not really, but I could see something happening with this, and then we do already have like the 2 Stalking Shadows to draw some cards, and so let's go for it. I'm in. All right, so you all know what time it is. We do have to go and turn something premium. There's not going to be a lot of choices. I can already tell. Being in this mono Shadow Isles, these cards have been around for quite a while. Here's the commons. It looks like we just already have all of the units. Easy peasy. Nothing in the spells. I don't think we have any landmarks, so off to the rares. Man, I'm gonna have to get more coins today. Oh my gosh, it's Scuttlegeist. It's finally Scuttlegeist day. All right. I'm okay with that. It's been ancient times for you since he was out here in the initial set. Let's see here. Okay, so the coins are locked and loaded. Pull up the Scuttlegeist. Push the button. Let's go. Ready for action. So yeah, it's come together reasonably. I mean, it needs a bit of work, but we should be able to do a little bit of winning with this. A non-zero amount of winning is certainly incoming, and so we don't have like the complete makings of either a Kalista deck or a Nocturne deck. I wouldn't even be opposed to just switching to Elise if she turns up. She has Fearsome as well. But at the end of the day, if we're going to be a like Mistwraiths deck, then it doesn't really matter about the champion. Like, it is kind of nice having a Nocturne, since you can shrink your opponent's team, but it's by no means a requirement. So it'll really just come down to whatever cards turn up in the trade picks. What you got? Bringing the jailbreaks. Misfortune Fiora. Okay. Not a bad start. Get them freebies out of it. Good looking start for us as well. Let's get the Penitent Squire with no elites. And I won't block here. We will like eventually get to a point to where these blocks really kind of like fall off in quality, or these attacks fall off in quality because he can just trade them with anything. But there's a pretty reasonable chance he doesn't actually have a 3-attack unit here. A lot of the units out of these archetypes are pretty small. Okay, we'll slam into Fiora. I assume he's going to take the 2 damage and then try and hook down Kalista next turn, but that's okay. This is good at growing some board. Oof, I thought we were going to get it. I thought he was going to let us Frenzied Skitterer. Oh my gosh, is he going to? Sweet. Appreciate it, dog. So he can't switch to just hooking the Mistwraith now, but our Kalista should be protected for a turn. Here you can see the importance of these Skitterers as well. You usually play them like offensively. You're able to shrink down your opponent's board, but here it was nice protecting us from Kalista. Man, he's got all the booms. The double Crackshot Corsair with the Protoporo to chunk in a ton of damage. Ooh, that's it? That's a win. Do we want to Unspeakable Horror it? Just I don't think so. Alright, let's just bang. I don't think we'll be killing with Mistwraiths here. I was looking to just use the Fading Memories onto the Frenzied Skitterer. Hopefully shut down his team. Pretty close to lethal after this. Assuming he just, say, plays like a random 3-3, then we'll have the opportunity to shrink quite a bit. Waking Sands makes that a little bit awkward. So we're going to lose a Kalista, and I think that's okay. He's getting blasted for 13. Could just leave Kalista back. I don't really like that though. We're so close to just ending the game with the Doom Beast and the Astral Fox coming in for 5. Okay. It's a little bit further away, but given his board, it's not unreasonable to think we can't fearsome him out on our next attack. Look at all these combos. He's got everybody. So he does have the free hook onto the 1 health Mist Wraith, since the Misfortune will take it down. But I mean, should we have just Astral Foxed it instead of... because now we're going to have to kill something else. Interesting way to go about this. Wow, bringing everyone, huh? So, like, what's his trick here? That's the question. I think I'm okay with just killing off the Treasure Seeker and guaranteeing our unit survives. Like, if he plays a Prismatic Barrier or some shit onto Misfortune, I think it's okay. But it does feel like there's a lot of times we just win the combat, which we just did. Excellent. So now he can't block a Fearsome. We have this Crescent Guardian to come in with a big open. And then we have 5 damage coming out of hand. Sure. Such an awkward time for you, Astral Fox. I'd love to get an additional hit, but I don't think that's going to happen. We should be getting in for 6 damage here, though, right? If he puts the Vanguard in front of a Fearsome, he puts a 2 health in front of the Crescent Guardian, then we should be coming in for 6, and then we look pretty free to send 5 to the dome. Cool. No make it rains, please. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Gross. Alright, but we still have a pretty healthy life total and opponents that it won with a bad board. So he's going to have to top deck pretty well to get out of this one. Sure. I guess he's just attacking to get the bonuses in. He might have picked up a combat trick. I assume if he picked up a trick, he would just play the unit, but... Alright, victory is ours. Okay, so again, I don't really care about the champion, and cool, Elise turned up. That's a good one to see, right? She has Fearsome, that's always a great ability, but we have a Wraith Caller down here with our Nocturne, so that will be our take out of this one. Help us just pick up the Mist Wraiths a little bit more. Hopefully we can trade into some of these things and such, and if we don't care about champions, maybe we'll pick up another Wraith Caller out of a champion pick, or at least a Risen Mists or something, and maybe we can end the draft with like 6 or 8 Mist Wraith cards. All right, where are you at, opponent? Does everyone quit on expeditions? We're gonna have to play the Poro bot in half of our games. That's okay. It's just pulling up the perfect match for us. Curious what Riot has on the drawing board in terms of limited formats. I've played like a bit of Hearthstone Duels here recently, and I think it would be a fantastic port over here. It does eliminate the draft phase, which I don't know. People like to big brain about about drafts being a thing, but it's just seeing the enhancements and everything that they have for the deck building, and then what we get to see here in Runeterra with the Path of Champions. Seems like it would be a fantastic mishmash of things, but Guess that's close enough to what the Path of Champions is. At any rate, let's lead off with the Arachnoid Horror here. Was this Quinn Shen? Probably going to get blasted by some of these early challengers. Like, it's just such a turd if he's able to even just play like a Bright Steel Protector this turn. Alright, bringing it. I wish we just had some sacrifice stuff for these foxes. They've been pretty awkward, to say the least. Here, I will go ahead and play Mistwraith. He's going to get a kill, regardless, with this Fleet Feather Tracker, but I'd like to just go ahead and take down the Protector if we can. Right, he's in a space to where he's just going to kill anyways, and so might as well remove it if we can. All right, Wraithcaller incoming. We don't have any like real combos for this, right? It would be nice if you can say, make an attack here, and then you get to then on your next turn you get to like Risen Mist. Is that the thing? No, Risen Mist makes the Wraithcaller. It's the Mist's Call that brings back a dead unit. Oh my gosh, we got so much fear, so many Mist Wraiths. I wanted to wait a turn because we're about to have good combats with the Badger Bear, but man. Much strength coming out of here. We're going to lose him to his birds. That's kind of sucky. Do we want to just like start shooting them down with Astral Foxes? That sounds kind of bad as well. Like, we need to be playing like Nocturne next turn. But if we want a Nightfall and Nocturne, we need a Mistwraith to go with it. Kind of okay with the Astral Fox. Right, we were waiting so that we could just block his Badger Bear, but we probably should have attacked with the Wraithcaller last turn, but... Our other option being, let's just Piercing Darkness Quinn. Alright. Fine. If he has a Prismatic Barrier, we're so hosed. it's just so common out of these Shen decks. Alright, we made it that far. Rip. You should probably just attack with everything here. But sure. So would we actually want to just like wait a turn on the Nocturne so that we can just have a bigger board of Fearsomes? I think I'm kind of partial to that. Like, what if we just start playing Doom Beasts? And then next turn we look to use like a Nocturne attack. Okay. I don't think we're going to be able to get this one. Demacia is traditionally a pretty horrible matchup for Fearsomes, just because classically Demacia has been just jam-packed full of 3/3s for 3. It's been pretty easy for them to come in and interact with all of your units. That's what we're starting to see here, just getting completely shut down by the Badger Bear. He's got another one. The one thing we made it through the draft without seeing I would like is an Atrocity. Like, it's not going to be nearly enough to get the kill here, but if you're able to Atrocity for like 6 or 7, it's incredibly powerful. Oh, interesting. That would get us like actually pretty close to lethal. Say we could Atrocity for 6, and then we already have another 5 burn in hand. Just have to come up with just a little bit more damage for it to be pretty good. All right, bring it in.
Sweep them away.
Can I try?
Feel pretty safe into these, given that, say his idea is to play a barrier, then we do have the Vile Feast to to try and stop it. We'll keep the Mist Wraith back. If we're going to play Nocturne next turn, we can attack past his 3s. This would be like a fairly ideal place for him to play a barrier. We're probably going to have to Vile Feast anyways. Well, that's tough. If we want to Nightfall our Nocturne, we might have to wait a turn, but we want to play the Astral Fox like this turn, but we don't have anything to throw away to it. Kinda awkward.
What form will the waters take?
What form will the waters take? Who even says that? is that a Doom Beast saying? What's he doing? What the fuck is this thing? Looks like some kind of cat creature with a helmet. I don't know. People give me a lot of shit for calling oh, what's his name? The fearsome dog a dog. He's actually a bird. But again, is what it is. All right, we can't just take 9 this turn. All right, looking pretty bad for the home team. It's dumb. Oh, that Relentless Pursuit thing's permanent? I'm just used to Relentless Pursuit just being an easy KO. All right, well, this is not ideal. I don't think there's a better way to say it. Okay. Cool. I was going to block anyways. This could be the turning point for this one. We get to hit for 5, and then that'll take him to 8. Yeah, 8. We have a little bit more damage and the Astral Fox in hand, and then we're basically 1 card away from flipping this Kalista. It's pretty decent. Ooh. Oh. Maybe. Alright. I wonder if he just has a handful of, like, prismatic barriers and just a bunch of combat tricks. No way. No way. Did we do it with him having 4 cards in hand? Wow. GG. Did not expect that one. That game was just going so absolutely poorly. Awesome. So here, boom, a Wraithcaller. Perfect. I would also trade the Vile Feast for a Frenzied Skitterer, but these Wraithcallers and Mist Wraith generators are just the most important thing we can be finding. And Haunted Relic is pretty far off theme. Like, it does work with Kalista, right? That's the idea. You play this stupid card, you get the 3 spirits, they all die, and flip your Kalista, but it's never worth it. All right, on to the next one. And I finally did it today. I haven't done this in my entire adult life. If you're familiar with the movie Old School, there's a scene in the movie where Frank the Tank's talking about having a big day lined up. They're going to go to Home Depot. They're going to buy some flooring, maybe go to Bed Bath & Beyond. There's just not enough time. I don't know. And I pulled it off today. I went to both. I hadn't done that before until today. 36 years to get that far, and boy was it special. How the life and times change. Wasn't just that. I had to go to Lowe's and Home Depot. They didn't have all the stuff I needed. It was tough. A lot of stops. Yeah, this adulting thing gets to be hard every once in a while. All right, we're ready. Here, no blocks onto the rear guard. Completely okay. Ooh, Rock Bear. We should be able to attack through this stuff pretty powerfully. I don't suspect that Kalista is going to get out of this. right? We'll play Kalista. He's probably going to play, you know, random 3-attack unit, and then we'll try and trade. But that's okay. See what he does. It should be obvious that we have tricks for the Riven. But dude, that's pretty powerful for us. He didn't even get a fragment out of her.
We march as one, an unstoppable
Is Wraithcaller even good here? I don't really like it. I'm leaning more towards, like, what if we just go ahead and double Vile Feast this Legion Drummer? And then what do we do next turn, right? We have the 1 banked spell mana, so we can open Piercing Darkness onto his Rock Bear. Okay. Okay. It's like the scary part about this is this really lines us up to just getting, like, blown out by a combat trick. And so I have to worry about that a little bit, but I think we're okay so far. Do we even want to bother with the Piercing Darkness? Would we rather just play Wraithcaller now? I think so. Just lets us get wider, makes our Unspeakable Horror a real card. I think this is okay. That's a little less ideal. But he's already played through 1 champion. Right, so now he's going to block our 3-2, and we have the Unspeakable Horror to clear out the 5-4. Okay. So much heal. Legion Rearguard's been trying to put in the work today, just getting everything healed through. That's a tough one. I don't really want to let these just start double growing. Like, we can kind of just deal with the 1. Like, we should fairly quickly have some, like, 3-attack dudes on board. But if he's getting the 5-4s out of this, it's just pretty tough to overcome. Let's wait a turn. It doesn't have Overwhelm. It's not ultra scary. We got 1 Nightfall. So many. So many Nightfalls. It's kind of problematic. He doesn't count 1 for himself, so he'd be a 5-5 coming down. Okay. We're definitely losing, like, 1 Mist Wraith to the Tusk Raider, but otherwise this feels pretty okay. I mean, I could even see a world where he just trades away the Tusk Raider, since he's just going to get, like, reamed on damage. He takes 7 and falls to 6. I'm getting pretty good at this math thing. Sure. So this is the point to where we should hopefully be able to burn him out.
The 3 are unrivaled.
So how's this going to go? Right, I would assume he wants to hook the 5-5. Gets to come in for like 10-ish. Let's say we just have to, like, throw away our 1-1s and they're not going to deal any damage this game. Could we get kills with either of these units? Like, Mist Wraiths are the appealing ones because we can just, like, spew. But if, like, I'm leaning towards just, like, what happens if we get 2 onlookers, right? He's going to have a blocker for both. And then we're just, like, short on damage. Ugh. Alright, Doom Beast it is. We're playing the ephemeral win here. I fully intend to block with it. So now we take 9 and go to 6. That feels pretty safe. I guess it would come down to, do we want to make the Scuttlegeist even cheaper? Right, we can, like, block both of his units. Then Scuttlegeist will just cost 1. I think the damage is probably a little bit too important. But let's do this. Let's get rid of one. Because I want to be able to play the Scuttlegeist this turn. Like, I don't really want to be banking spell mana. We're never playing this Black Spear. Okay. I had to stop and think if we're going to get killed by the Overwhelm. That's not a thing. Okay, okay. So he does have an additional blocker now, which is kind of meh. We don't have a cheap way or an easy way to get this Evershade Stalker down. We can't just play it. We're lethal with Doom Beasts like that. So no complaints from me, I guess. Oh, you've just got lethal? Not bad, not bad. Alright, number one. Emote. Emote incoming. Says, oh, nah, man. Bust emoting. That can't be good. Oh, man. Oh, that reminds me of a classic Magic play. I can't remember if I've talked about it before. At this point, I've probably talked about it, but you may not have heard it. And so, back in the ancient days of the Pro Tour, here, hang on. What do we got here? We got a Wraithcaller coming out of the Nocturne. Perfect. This would have been back during like Mirage and Visions and the like. There was a deck called Prosbloom, which would use a card called Cadaverous Bloom, lets you discard cards from your hand to gain mana. Then you'd play the blue card Prosperity to draw a bunch of cards, and then it also used a thing called like Squandered Resources that would let you sacrifice lands for mana. And the idea was you would just draw your entire deck, and then you could discard your whole hand, and then play Drain Life for 20 or whatever it takes to kill your opponent. And so there was I don't know like how much you should call him a truly great magician. He was certainly a notable fixture of the pro scene throughout history. He was also rumored to be a savage cheater, but Mike Long is the guy's name, and he pulled off the play in question. So he was playing that Prosperous Bloom deck. He was playing one copy of Drain Life in it, and throughout the course of assembling his combo, he had to discard Drain Life. And so with just the one copy in his deck, he has no way to win the game. The game should be done. And so he starts like playing through the combo and just like starts acting like super dejected and just giving his opponent like, really, dudes, come on, like this is so done. You're wasting our time. Like, why are you making me do this? And the opponent just eventually concedes, right? As he's going through the motions, he gets the concession out of him and didn't realize that the Drain Life was in the graveyard. And that's what that emote play reminded me of there. Just you play the first one, you play the Laser Beam Cat, and then you just wait a bit. Opponent concedes before you actually play the second Doom Beast. It's kind of nice. But it is great not having to like deal with that stuff anymore. In terms of there are like combos in Magic where it'll turn out. You can run into it on like Arena, but you can, in large part, just like push the buttons that make the game end, or like pass priority over and over again, and then you make your opponent do it. I know there are times to where you can't do that, like it happens with like the Eggs deck. I hope that's just banned and everything, but where people can just be like cycling through the combo and you might have to react at a certain point. You have to just keep pushing buttons. It sucks. It sucks a lot, but that's the way it is. That's the way the games work. All right, back to this one. I wanted to go ahead and like plan to kill the 3/1. That's why we attacked last turn. Could have saved it for this turn, but I was curious if he would actually block, because it's like super suspect when you make that play, right? But here, I think we're good to just go ahead and play the Unspeakable Horror. We won't get the Nightfall out of this, but that's okay. See if we can't get our Kalista flipping. Oh man, is he gonna have a trick? Is he going to Twin Disciplines the investigator? Bunch of spells on Kalista. Sure, she's not that important. It would be nice if we could get her summoning Wraith Callers and the like, but at the end of the day, not a big deal. Remember, we are a Mist Wraith deck. We are not a Kalista deck. It's okay if she goes away. Curious, it's very easy for him to be stuck playing units that have to trade with the Wraithcaller and not be playing units that just get the win. Not a ton of like 3/3s just running around on these archetypes. Like, there's a handful. You know, might be play a Station Archivist or something, but Ionia Piltover certainly aren't known for their 3/3s. He has 5 mana. He could play a Jolt Protector or something, but the Mourned coming down, it doesn't make it really feel like he has it. And we'll see where we get ourselves in combat here. We have the Fading Memories in hand. We may want to copy the Wraithcaller in the middle of combat. Just kind of want to see how this turns out, how much damage we're getting in, whether or not we want to copy it. Copy the Skitterer is always a good copy, since you can give your opponent's team, neg attack twice, make your guys unblockable. That's probably where we'll end up taking this one, but we'll have to wait and see. Kind of leaves us in an awkward space next turn in the amount of mana we can spend. Okay, that was expensive. So I say we'll lose our 2 units on the right. Okay. Not horrible.
There was a little fella asking for me.
This Stygian Onlooker is about to be sent to the Netherworld. So you fought valiantly, my dude. But you are gone now. Cool. Into Mist Wraith. Does that change anything now that we picked up 2? I think I dig it. It's a pretty wild draw off the Hexcore Foundry. Sting Officer can't block anything. So right now we're coming in for 12. I think we'll just be playing the Skitterer, though. We can come in with the Doom Beast next turn. I guess the big thing is we won't need to copy this Frenzied Skitterer. We should be able to copy Doom Beast next turn. He says, "Oh shit, Bust is bringing it, bringing it all." Did he give up? Did we get the rage quit? Nope. He's just bringing out the most appealing way to lose the game. Let's emote again. Cupcakes. Nice. I'm getting pretty good at this emote thing. You just push it. So it reminds me of the Hearthstone days, and you just push hello over and over again. That's and all butt stuff 420 coming at you, pushing the hello button over and over. Gotcha. Okay. We're lethal. Game says 0. Game says -1. Even better. Got him. Okay, so what are we doing here? I really like this Hapless Aristocrat. The Piercing Darkness is just like too slow for this style of deck. You know, we're fine to play Vengeance. Vengeance is a different story because it's fast speed, but we'd rather be playing like Black Spears, the Mist, the Unspeakable Horrors, the Vile Feasts, things that you can like do with your leftover spell mana. You basically have to give up an entire turn to play the Piercing Darkness, and then the Hapless Aristocrat does quite a bit. It of course gives us some fodder for those sacrifice cards. So if we ever find a Blighted Caretaker, we could fit it in kind of easily. But then also with these Astral Foxes that we have, and then it's also an easy play for making a Nightfall. So don't have too many like 0 and 1 mana plays just to get those free Nightfalls with, and so it's efficient. So let's see. We are potentially up against Teemo. It does look to be an Udyr deck, and so I'll hang on to the Vile Feast just in case Teemo comes down early. I don't suspect it should be a big worry for us, but got to be prepared and stuff. Hey, we were prepared.
Ladies, where are you?
I'll scout ahead.
It's not a bad combo with the Udyr. I mean, that's one of the stronger ways to deal damage to the Nexus is with the Puff Caps, but I can't imagine he's like a full-on Teemo deck. But, I mean, that is one of those awkward spaces, though, right? If it's one of the, I don't know, I don't want to call it the downfall of Expedition or the downside to Expedition, but, you know, if you're trying to assemble the Leona Yasuo deck and you only get to play 4 champions in total, you either have to play less than optimal Yasuos or you know, really struggle to get the deck going properly. You know, if you're playing 3 Yasuos and only 1 Leona, then you may not have all of the stun activation that you're looking for. Okay, just leading with the Vile Feast because I want to play Doom Beast this turn. Don't intend to play the Arachnoid Horror. It's going to get us a Troll Chant. Nope. Rip Teemo. Bringing all the thunder, my dude. Get real amped up for this run today. Do you all know who Phil Collins is? Listen to a bunch of Phil Collins today. It's not something that usually gets you amped up, but put me in a pretty good mood. He was in another band called Genesis. Would have been popular in the 80s, maybe strung into the early 90s a bit. But that's who we're listening to. They popped up on the Spotify. That's what we're doing. Is listening to Lil Phil Collins. Guarantee you've heard him before. Whoa. Mid-combat entreats. I guess that makes sense if he's just going to block and throw away both of his Puff Cap peddlers. So much Puff Cap stuff. Well, that was just a physical mushroom cloud. I guess he's not playing a ton. All right. All right, well, Kalista makes this a little less awkward. I was gonna say we're like most certainly looking to play a Unspeakable Horror this turn onto the almost dead Puffcat Peddler, but it was fairly awkward with the rest of our hand. Huh. I'm doing it. Yeah, you have to be careful with these, right? We can send the Unspeakable Horror to face. We're getting pretty close to lethal. I don't think we're gonna have to do it here, but something to keep in mind. This is not good for him. You don't want to be making this attack. We talk about this quite a bit when we're playing decks that are able to get wide. Like, as we go into next turn, we are 100% going to be able to have 6 units on the board. But, like, what's the chance our opponent can get 6 units on the board, right? You can never have 7. You can never have 8. You can't have 9. You know, there is that hard limit of 6, and we're most definitely going to hit it, as to where there's just not happening for him. And so I assure you some of these units are going to go through unblocked this turn. To whereas if he had it on board, you know, if we didn't just throw away that Wraith Caller, we wouldn't be adding in this Mist Wraith now. Right, he just spends all this mana on Udyr. Could have 3 blockers instead of 2. Oh, Teemo! He does have a little bit more thunder coming at us. All right, we'll bring it. You want Kalista at the end. There's a decent chance she'll be flipping before this combat is over. So at a minimum, we should be getting an 8 damage. He's tapped out, so he can't play any more cards. So we should be ready for an Unspeakable Horror kill. This looks lethal. You gotta throw your Teemo away here, my dude. I know it's sad, but that's the way life goes sometimes. Nope. I wound it up easy for you. It's the math work has been done. You have to block the stuff on the right. Looking good. Looking good. You can technically gain some life. You don't see the likes of Catalyst of the Aeons too frequently anymore, but we'll play it a little slow, let him spend some mana before we drop this Unspeakable Horror. I think we're in the clear now. The 5 mana Catalyst of the Aeons is the only way for them to gain. Boom. All right, Wounded Affliction coming in. That's always an interesting hit on the Unspeakable Horror. Just getting that unblockableness out there can be pretty choice. Okay, what are we doing for these? I'm not opposed to adding in more Doom Beasts, but we already have 5. It's not an important pickup here. I'd like to hang on to this Aristocrat anyways. I don't think we want any of these. Like, I'm usually a big supporter of having like 1 copy of Crumble, but this Arachnoid Horror is pretty important. Like, if it's going to be like, do you want to trade Dusk Rider for Crumble, then sure, but not our 2-drops. We've got to hang on to those. All right, pre-final battle. I'm curious where, at what point in the future we'll ever see like more Mist Wraiths get printed, right? It seems like odd to me that they would print, if like the initial set there was just Mist Wraith and Wraith Caller, then fine, and then in the next one or in the Targon expansion, I guess they released Risen Mists, but it's like keyworded and everything, and so it just like leaves the opportunity for more of this card to exist, and that it seems like a card that should not exist in more copies. Well, I did print more, right? They printed that 3/4 thing out of the new set that if you get a Spell Slay, you get a Mist Wraith. So I guess they'll keep supporting these things forever. But it is like a pretty slippery and dangerous slope as to where just having that cheap unit be so powerful. I could definitely see a world to where they have to nerf the core Mist Wraith to like a 1/2 if they accidentally print something too cheap. We played this guy earlier? Riven Ezreal. I don't think we did. Okay. Riven's a little scary. These 3/4s, we managed to make our way past the Demacia guy, but the 3/4s are usually pretty tough for us to deal with. It takes a lot of Mist Wraiths to get through one. And I'm seeing these premium Kalistas, and it's like I know the time's coming when we we completely just run out of commons. Need that new set to come out quick. No thank you. No thank you to the Glory Seeker. And then this doesn't seem like the kind of turn where we'll get to attack with Kalista, but there is, you know, sort of a world where he has to play like a 2/2 or something. Whoa. Well, I guess the assumption here is he's just going to lose the Runeweaver in combat, so he might as well just prevent the point of damage. I get it. It's a bad spot to be in. There's no two ways around that. It's a pretty bad spot to be in. There's Riven.
The heart and mind to aim its strike.
Quick attack. That's nasty. Okay, I want to save the Unspeakable Horror. It's like we're going to have to throw a unit in front of Riven, and so I'd like to be able to deal 3 damage to her. Or 3 damage to her in combat, and then 1 damage with whatever is left. Frenzied Skitter are always interesting. I think this is a turn for Nocturne, though. We want to get a good hook onto Riven. So that was a pretty low value hook in the, or a pretty low value copy in the Arachnoid Horror, but it kind of is what it is. Okay. So we gotta take the more dangerous one. It's like we were already just like kind of done with Nocturne at that point. He did his job. He put his ability out there, got us ready to go. But as I say, now we have to worry about combat tricks coming in on Kalista, which is unfortunate, but it's fine. Just at the end of the day, going up against, you know, a PNZ Noxus deck, being ahead on life and ahead on board at this stage, it's pretty good and pretty strong. Interesting. Okay. Such an awkward hand. Gotta spend some of our mana, though. So let's get this down. Ooh, an Ezreal now? Fuck. It's like he really baited us into that one with the Trail of Evidence. It just doesn't do anything. It seemed like he was really digging for something to do. So do we want to end up just dropping the Doom Beast now? I think we probably do. That's lucky. There's definite ways to get copies and get cycles on the Frenzied Skitter. I was surprised to see it get be the thing to get taken down. All right, this looks good. We have we can either add the Arachnoid Horror here if he, you know, plays another small unit, or we can be ready with the 2 damage of pings out of hand if we want. Sure. Not enough mana. Oh, it's hard to count to 4 sometimes. Okay, and then let's go ahead and Unspeakable Horror. I want to play the Nightfall unit next turn if we can.
Victory requires a sharp blade.
There's the Moonlit Affliction again. We'll see. We'll see if it gets to do anything. But right, giving the unblockable and fearsome can be quite powerful if we're able to pull it off. That's pretty unfortunate. So it's like we're going to lose both of our units this turn. We can technically like Moonlit Affliction this turn. That doesn't seem very good. Wow. Okay.
I don't miss. Try to run.
Gotta just be on that burn plan now. We're supposed to needed to be hitting Eclipse Dragon out here, right? That's the one we needed to Nightfall up. But we still have some time. We might be able to chunk in some damage and then get a burn kill. Wraithcaller is always a good start. We can just play everything, right? Looks like it. All right, here they come. So yeah, I mean, we could realistically get him to, if he blocks our two biggest ones, then we come in for 8, takes him to 2,
You're between me and glory.
takes him to 3. I was counting the unspeakable horror or the fearsome dog as the additional point of damage. But I mean, this should buy us some time, right? If we get him to 3, we have some reasonable blocks potentially, or like reasonable draws. I meant to say in terms of just burning him out.
No sweat.
Okay. Especially if it's just like, oh man, we only have to deal 1 damage, right? If we can get in with these spiderlings and such next turn. Oh, there's half of the puzzle.
To serve the greater good.
That makes it a little more challenging.
I'm cold, I'm hungry, and there's rocks in me boots.
I was feeling pretty good about it when we drew the Doom Beast. Now it just feels a little less so. I need to get the deck tracker up. I told it to load, but it didn't do it. What? What? Is that a Riven Sword? He has quick attack this game. Ugh. Well, he put the Overwhelm on the wrong one. That's kind of our saving grace here. He should have put the Overwhelm onto his 7/3. Maybe this is where it comes in for the quick attack challenge thing. Sure. So we might get a free draw, and we might get to... let's stop and do some mathematics real quick. If everything gets blocked, he's gonna... This is only 17. Okay, we're fine. See, not lethal anymore, right? There it goes. Goes to 2. Spiderling even better. Takes us to 1. Sure. Again, this is a... He's really letting us hang on to these Wraithcallers for no good reason. This is the second time where he's let us kind of get away with one. I don't know if we have Unspeakable Horrors left in our deck, but I think we have to play the Nocturne into the Doom Beast now. Otherwise, where do we stand, right? The Nocturne hook isn't good enough.
Embrace the darkness.
We still get to attack though. If we hit with everything, can we flip this Nocturne? No. I don't think it works. We can, like, pick some of his units off. Like, the Nocturne attack is good. That gets the Brutal Hunter off of the board. If we attack with that one, and then it's like, well, if we attack with the Wraith Collar and the Doom Beast, he still gets, like, one good block. So this is fine, just the Nocturne. I don't think it's going to be relevant. It's going to be, do we draw a Unspeakable Horror or not? Wow, that was a big block. This is like, I know we don't have the removals in our deck, but this also puts us in the spot to where we could just, like, Vengeance is only Overwhelm. It's definitely an interesting line that we're running into there. Okay, well, let's make this trade, and then I'll try to get the deck tracker up. It's it's tough to do. Mistwraith, cool. Man, playing games like that make me want to pick up the Vengeances, but we can't let the Mistwraiths go. All right, all kinds of lessons for everyone out there today. Put it in your encyclopedia and read it later. All right, what's this? Yuumi Pantheon Nar with 2 Yumis. I was trying to think of, like, what world we can hang on to 2 Wraith Collars. That's, I mean, it's like against Yuumi Pantheon, it's something that you know, reasonably able to do, in that we're gonna make a lot of, like, width attacks onto them. So if he's out here being, like, on a Zenith Blade into Yuumi kind of opener, then, you know, we just assume that that unit is just going to kill us every combat, and we just attack around it instead of trying to take it down. I'll be struggling here. Let's see what he does. Curious if we ever get to drop the Black Spear type stuff onto this thing. Okay, not just yet. We'll get a turn, I assure you. It'll happen. Or we'll pick up we have a ton of pings. Sure. Alright, so this next turn should hopefully be our big one. We'll get to play the Wraith Collar. We'll get the Mistwraith. We'll have this board just full of huge dudes. I assume he's going to have some kind of combat trick to try and protect the Saga Seeker, and then we'll get to take it down with the Black Spear. It is a little unfortunate this turn if he's like, Herder, here's about 1 copy of Pantheon. But if we don't have to deal with, like, the big barrier unit coming down, then it's not nearly as bad. That was okay. I think we'll still get the Mystic before the turn's said and done. He doesn't put the Nan attack in front of the 2/2. Okay. It'd be so nice to just be able to pass the turn and not have to play cards, be ready with a Vile Feast, but it's not going to be the case. That's not enough. All right, he's got to start over now. The big onlooker plays coming in. So how do we want to go about this? Like, this feels like a turn where we just play Nocturne. Then next turn we'll play the Mistwraith with the double onlookers. Okay. Ugh. Sure. We can play the Stalking Shadows as well. We probably should have just led with the Stalking Shadows, but Wraith Collar turns up. let's play the real one this turn. If we need to play the ephemeral one next turn, we'll have the option. But big old damage is coming in.
Are you the one?
Into 4, so close to lethal. So close.
Together, stranger.
Fall into 2. Now it's no guarantee to get the burn kill with the Astral Fox, right? They play heal. He's already played one of his heal cards, but it's nice to have the non-combat path to victory, should we need it. Might need it. Might need it.
The soldier stands among us.
He hits Scout. Okay,
Be still. The peak has claimed.
here comes. Game says neg 1, right? Nice. All right, made our way into that final battle. Did deck tracker come up? I didn't even notice. Shit. I've got this thing up. It's loaded up this far. Like, I assure you, I've at least turned the thing on, and it's attempting to load. Let's see. Wraithcaller, perfect. Wonderful addition to the deck. Here, the only reasonable choice is the Stygian Onlooker. I'm not the hugest fan of it. You know, you could see in that game we just didn't even have the time to play it. You could see kind of the idea behind the Onlookers, and when you're trying to play them, you know, it's kind of in the mid game, and you're like, cool, I can play a whole bunch of these. But I think I'd rather just have the Vile Feast here. Coming out of this one, I'm not opposed to the Fading Memories, but I think we're like kind of too far away from the Nightfall decks to really want it. Let's just skip out of this one. Here, these cards are all trash. Don't want any of that. Trade number 5. Stalking Shadows for Duskraider is okay, but we already have 2 Stalking Shadows. It's a card that's kind of easy to stack in your hand, but let's be real, this Duskraider is pretty bad. I feel like that's a pretty okay trade. And then the last one, there's the chance at a crumble, but I think we'll skip over all of these. We already have enough pings, have enough Stalking Shadows. All right, let's get to it. And a pretty powerful little number that we've assembled here. And now it's just going to be like, boom, Shyvana. That's it. But yeah, like we don't have an atrocity, which is unfortunate. You could like see how we just burnt people out of like 2 or 3 games. And the atrocity makes it a little bit easier from a longer distance, if you will. Kind of like if you need in these games, your opponents will very oftentimes like try their hardest to stay above 2 because they know that Doom Beast is so common they don't want to just run into it. But it's a lot more challenging to actually come out and play around atrocity. All right, this is a big Mistwraith start. Here it comes. It'll all be dependent on like the cards in their repertoire. Like if they're dropping like fading icons and the like, then we're gonna struggle. If they're playing, you know, a bunch of like hapless aristocrat kind of cards, then we'll just overwhelm. We might find ourselves in a good spot here. I was a little worried about this Bark Beast, right? If it grows and we, then it combats all of our Mistwraiths well. But now we just get to play the perfect curve. We get to play the Vile Feast this turn along with another Mistwraith. Definitely interested in trying to take down the Unspeakable Horror, or take down the Bark Beast. It does feel like he was trying to kind of slow play Glimpse from Beyond. I kind of felt like he wanted a Glimpse from Beyond on the previous turn. So that might be something coming at us, but kind of whatever if it does. And then I'll keep our Mistwraiths healthy. I don't want to be losing these to Vile Feasts. All right, so we'll lead with the Arachnoid Horror. We won't show our whole hand of fearsomes, and then we'll follow up with the mist wraiths. So he says, "Oh damn, your unit's so big." No use to attack with the spiderling though. The encroaching mist can't block our fearsomes. Okay. Take him to 11. So now we'll be setting up for this like double frenzied skitterer attack on our turn 6. That is not what you're looking for at this space. The can't block dude is not the not the top of the line unit. So sure, we can shrink him to no block range. The Stygian Onlooker may be blockable, but most of his stuff won't be. Most of our stuff won't be. Interesting. Well, you can block the Onlooker. That's that's what we're offering up. Should be fairly safe. Like the box would be annoying to take down 2 of our units, but the typical AOE's like a withering whale aren't relevant here. And cool, boomed him right up to 7. Glad to get a nice Mist Wraith 7 winner in there before it's all said and done. And so, yeah, I wish it's like I wish I'd reinstalled LOR Guardian, but we're just not doing that at this point. So, at least in terms of the Mist Wraiths, right, and the Nocturne based stuff, we mentioned there's kind of like 2.5 to 3 decks that you can build out there. You're looking at either Fearsomes, which are not Mist Wraith based, not it's what do you do if you don't draft a Mist Wraith or see a Mist Wraith or see Wraith Callers and stuff? That's how you tend to get there. There are the Mist Wraiths deck itself, and then there's the we didn't see a Targon champion, but there's Nightfall. There's no Shurima champions here, but there's some stuff with the Nasus, and again, like the way that you typically land in Nocturne is he's not good on his own. He really needs to be in that space to where you're seeing 3 Shadow Isles packs the whole way. And so we got kind of lucky there in pack 2, but it's one of these champions to where he's not really a support champion, like in the terms of, say, Maokai, but he needs to be kind of drafted in that role to where he's set up with like a very specific set of champions to kind of ensure his success. And so you're really looking for Brutality Kindred, you're looking for Elise, you're looking for either Kalista, or you can find yourself with one of the Diana archetypes, or you can find yourself with Nasus. And so if you're able to piece together some of that, you can do it. I could see maybe an argument for Renekton working, just because there's so much overlap between Challenger Renekton and Slayer's Nasus that you should have a deck looking similar enough to Slayer's Nasus that the cards show up, but that's just kind of a different story for another day. But I think the big thing, to realize and recognize is this is a struggle if you open it, and then if you say take a Noxus champion, right? You just don't have any combos, and your picks are getting diluted across the board. And so it is, a full build-around strategy, but a lot of the cards have to fall in the right places. This isn't like Kalista from, 2 sets ago, to where her archetypes are just completely bonkers, and then you can just stack this Mist Wraith Fearsomes deck super, super easy. It's a different world from that. And so the only Mist Wraith cards outside of this archetype are the Wraith Caller and that Afterlife Kalista. It might live in like one other one, but Mist Caller and Risen Mist don't live anywhere else. And so that's why I think I have to kind of like stress the importance of recognizing if you're drafting Mist Wraiths or if you're pivoting into Fearsomes. And so if you're drafting Mist Wraiths, you just take every card that says Mist Wraith. Then if you're drafting Fearsomes, the most important card to find is that Arachnoid Horror, or not the Horror, whatever the one that gives your opponent's neg attack. That is the most important card that you can find. And otherwise, if you don't get either of those together, your deck's just going to fall flat. And so it is, kind of a bit of a high roll strategy. That's why I say you don't really want to take the Nocturne as a pick one. We got pretty lucky here today. You got the Kalista in pack 2, and it was smooth sailing from there. But it's very easy to kind of land in a second pack that, it's like, oh god, this doesn't even have like Aurelion Soul, right? I can't find any Nightfall cards because there's no Targon, and it could be tough if your picks are getting diluted and you're not in your combos. And so I think that's, at least draft-wise, the big takeaway is to probably just never start with Nocturne. Well, don't start with the Black Mist Nocturne, right? If you start with the Luminous Dusk, then you're going to see Targon pack 2 because it pairs in with Diana and Aphelios. But with the Black Mist, there's no guarantee. It's kind of like drafting the Sandisk deck out of Zerath, as to where you really have to have a good hit in the second pack. This one isn't as bad, right? You aren't just playing a completely dead card because you didn't hit a Shurima champion, but this has a handful of archetypes that it's really looking for to help pull off. But not a bad little 7 winner. Looks like we have a handful of stuff to click on, so let's take a peek and see what's out here. Some kind of Galio thing. Got some kind of quest we did. Go us. We did it. What is this? Collect the rewards. Okay, I thought we already claimed them all. Like, I knew I went and did the Vagar thing. We still get it, right? Did we just not claim it? Did we not get the premium Vagar? Curious what happened there. Or was it just like the skin? It wasn't a premium Vagar, it was a skin? Huh. What do we got? Oh, he's premium. Okay, we got that. It was just some skin we didn't click on or something, right? Is there an easy way to see out of this? Skins. Show owned. Maybe that was just what we missed. I didn't click on the final boss. Cool. So we did that. Then we click on the weekly vault. Lots of people on Reddit. You got to have something to bitch about if you're on Reddit. The weekly vault is the new thing. You gotta come out here and just like click quite a bit, and in the most first world of problems that there ever was, you gotta sit here and click on all this stuff. Now, granted, this was pretty annoying if you played Hearthstone. There was no like open all packs button, and the new set would come out, and you'd always buy I shouldn't say always buy. I would always buy between 1 and 300 packs, and then you just had to sit there and just like click and open all of them, and it's like you had to try and get in this space to where you could get your mouse in the right spot and click a whole bunch and then jam the space bar, and it would all open pretty quick. It was annoying. It would always take me 30, 45 minutes to get through it all. And anyone around, I'm sure my neighbors hated me that day. Just so much fucking clicking coming from that apartment. But we'll get through it. See, look at that. It's almost done. This is... It's absurd. Oh, they're still passing out expedition tokens as well. I thought that they were going to phase those out now that they're doing away with the thing, and you were supposed to spend all your tokens before the stuff was gone, but apparently not. But at any rate, that is going to do it for us today. Hope you you learned how to drain a little bit better with your black mists. Yeah, learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.